it's time to take some of these skills and actually do something fun, like making a game out of it. We're going to do something like Yahtzee. So if you've never played that, you got 5 dice, you throw them in a cup, and you roll them around. When you throw it, you add up all the ones, all the twos. You got a certain, it's kind of like poker in a way. You've got a certain amount of ones you want to get, a certain amount of twos you want to get, things like that, and try to see what kind of score you can get for the round. That's the idea. So we're rolling several dice, rolling 5 dice. That's how the game works. So this will take you through everything to do. And I'm just going to kind of give you an overview. One thing you got to do is put, this is dice 1, 2, and you want to put die 3, die 4, and so on. There's a shortcut to do that if you remember it. If not, you can type them in. All right, I'm not going to do the actual formulas. I want you to come up with a random number. I want when you change something on this spreadsheet, and that can be as simple as just hitting space bar and hitting enter. I'll show you the ones I've already got over here. These are random numbers. When I hit space and enter, those change. All right. There's no, like, I can't make a button that says roll, at least not easily in here. Otherwise, I would have done that for you. So this is the easiest way to do it. Just change any cell. An easy way to change a cell, pick a blank one, hit space, hit enter. That's how you can roll the dice, basically. So what you want to do is have random numbers come up on all of these spots for your 5 dice. And I'm just going to go through and suppose I've done that, make some random numbers. Okay. And your score is going to add up what's on all of these. Okay. And we can do that with a calculator, but if we do, then it's next time we roll the dice, that total is no longer accurate. So you definitely want to use a formula here. So you do it one time and it adds it up for you. So your total score goes in this cell G2. All right, and then over here, let me kind of walk you through it. We're going to do something. We're going to make a game that has 10 dice to roll now. Okay, so same idea as over here. Die 1, 2, and go all the way up to 10. All right, I just put some numbers in here so you can see how it works. You're going to have to come up with the formula on your own. I'm not going to click on it and give it away. But if you hit space right now and hit enter, there we go. It refreshes those numbers like you're rolling a dice. You're getting a new roll each time. So I'm just going to run through without reading all those directions off to you. This is the ones score. So I want to know what's the total for the ones that I rolled. In this case, I'd only have 1, so that would be 1. I want to know the total for 2s that I scored. Now, it's going to change every time I do this because it's set to do that. So in this case, that would be a 2 and a 2, so 4 points. All right, for 3s. So I didn't get any 3s that time. Okay. Let me just do one so you get the idea. So based off what I've got right now, the 6s score, if I was going for 6s, I got 1, 2, 3 of those, so I'd have 18 points for that. All right, so that's the idea. Now, again, you want the spreadsheet to do all that for you. You want it to add those up for you. So there's a little bit of logic we've got to do first. It's not going to know exactly how to do that. The computer is it's smart, but it's not smart enough to know how to go through and count up the ones. You got to break down how you would do that. So in your mind, I mean, the first thing you're looking at, you're going through this list thinking, is this a 1? I mean, really, you're in an if-then logic, you're saying, or let's start with is, I guess. Is this number a 1? Yes or no? No. All right. So we need to give the computer a logical way to look at that. If this is a 1, then what am I going to do with it? So if this had been a 1, I would have added it to my total. Otherwise, I move on and look for another 1. That's the idea. If this is a 1, then add it to my total. Else, move on. Okay, that's a 5, so move on. That's not a 1, move on. That's not a 1, move on. That is a 1, let's add it to my total. That's the logic you want to give the computer. All right? And there's different ways to do it. This is kind of a basic way, but I think it's probably the easiest way to give y'all for where we are right now. And actually, I'm going to leave this formula in here. I'm going to show it to you so you can kind of model off of it. What I've done, it says if J2 equals 1. Right? J2 is this cell right here. It's got a 5 right now. if that's equal to 1, I'm going to put a 1 right here. Otherwise, I'm going to put a 0. Okay. So the idea I'm getting at, I want this thing where it says add ones to go through here and count up all of the ones that I have. And if it's not a 1, I want to give it a 0, because this would make it really easy to get the total. All I've got to do is add up the total for this column right here. Let me roll the dice again and see how that would change. All right, so now I've got a couple of 1s. So now I've got a couple 1s showing up here. And that's what I want it to do. I want, if it sees a 1 in these cells, I want it to put that 1 in there. If it doesn't see a 1, I want it to put a 0, so I don't add that to my total. Because when you get down to it, you're only adding the 1s to your total. You're adding 0 points for any other number. And that's what you're telling the computer to do. So that's what the directions are going to talk you through doing. So I tried to make sure all the logic is transparent. All of the logic I'm using for the table, I gave you that first example, build off of that. Look at what it's doing. I mean, you got to understand what it's doing and then apply that across here. So you'll can't just copy that and paste it. It won't work. But look at the logic and then look at how you could make it go through and count the number of 2s, count the number of 3s, and so on, and then add those totals up here.